How do you take constructive feedback? That's the question on today's edition of the Bible Delight in the Details. It is April 22nd, 2020, and I'm J. Lenora Bressler. In the book of Proverbs, we have so much great wisdom. We hear the teacher, who is King Solomon, who we know from the Bible was the wisest man that ever lived. And yet he made mistakes, we know that, but he did understand the importance of wisdom. And I want to read you just a handful of the verses about wisdom, and particularly that wisdom that we receive when we get constructive feedback. And I want you to be honest with yourself. How do you receive constructive feedback? How does it affect you? Do you feel attacked? Are you glad to have heard it? Do you take it as a gift that makes you better? Or do you kind of instantly push back because you really don't want to have been in error or whatever that does to your ego? I just want to run through some of these very quickly. And listen to what the Lord, speaking through the wisest man who ever lived, is telling us about this. Proverbs 1:7. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and instruction. Proverbs 4:1. Hear, ye children, the instruction of a father, and attend to know understanding. Proverbs 4:13, take fast hold of instruction. Let her not go, keep her, for she is thy life. Proverbs 6:23, for the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. Proverbs 8:10, receive my instruction, and not silver, and knowledge rather than choice gold. Proverbs 8:33, hear instruction and be wise, and refuse it not. Proverbs 9:9, give instruction to a wise man, and he will be yet wiser. Teach a just man, and he will increase in his learning. Proverbs 10:17, he is in the way of life that keepeth instruction, but he that refuseth reproof erreth. Proverb 12:1, whosoever loves instruction loves knowledge, and he that hateth reproof is brutish. Proverbs 13:1, a wise man hears his father's instruction, but a scorner heareth not rebuke. Proverbs 15:5, a fool despises his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. Proverbs 15:32, he that refuses instruction despises his own soul, but he that heareth reproof gets understanding. Proverbs 15:33, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Proverbs 19:20, hear counsel and receive instruction, that thou may beest wise in thy later end. Proverbs 24:32, then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction. You know, I'm telling you, we need to get a better understanding of constructive feedback. If God has given you, if God has blessed you with godly, wise people in your life who occasionally take you aside and hopefully in a very kind, respectful, appropriate way, tell you that maybe you're getting something wrong or maybe there's a better way of doing something, how do you respond to that? How do you take that? I guess everybody has some kind of ego, and, especially if you're trying really hard, you hate to have somebody say, you didn't get that quite right, or I don't think you're doing this quite right. But remember something. If you truly think that person is smart and has your best interest at heart, God does work through people. God works through godly people. And sometimes he'll just, he'll tell it to you straight out. You can feel it in your own head. You can feel God teaching you. Sometimes it's through his word. But sometimes he sends somebody to tell you. And that's that's a question. How would you take it from God? If you recognize that instruction, that reproof, maybe even at times that rebuke was actually coming from God or through a messenger on God's behalf, would you feel any differently about how you feel about it? I'll tell you, it's very important that we respond well, because if somebody feels led by the Lord to tell you something, and they are doing that, and you push back, and you have a bad attitude, well, obviously, they're not going to want to do that again. Now, they may feel compelled. They may feel that the Lord is compelling them to do it. But the human side of them, they don't want to have that awkwardness either. So how do you take a constructive feedback, particularly those from people that you respect? And be aware that sometimes that is the Lord whispering in their ear to tell you something, just as if God were whispering in your ear. Sometimes he whispers into your brain. Sometimes he whispers through his word, and sometimes it's through people. The reason I'm saying this is because, as many of you know, my father is just a superb biblical scholar. And he very gently, told me yesterday that he thought maybe I'd gotten something a little wrong. And maybe there was something else. And, at first you're like, oh no. And then I'm realizing, no. This is exactly what I want. I remember I used to teach with somebody, and I remember one time vividly I was teaching. It was an Easter morning Sunday school lesson, and I said something, and right in the middle of the thing, he basically said, "You're wrong," about something, and I was like, "Oh my gosh," But you know what? I thought about it, and just like even at the time, I kind of kept myself together enough, and it was like, and then I saw, and I considered it well, I looked upon it, and I received instruction, and to this day, every time I teach that particular passage, I think about that, and it, he was right, and what my dad told me yesterday, I think was also right, and I feel like today, because of some of these gentle, well done, respectful, constructive feedback, it is what it says, hear counsel, receive instruction, and thou will be as wiser, in the latter end. So, I just would encourage all of us. Being wise does not mean you don't make mistakes, okay? It doesn't mean you don't get things wrong. Being wise means that, yes, you do the best you can, and then when something is presented to you, especially by people you respect and you think mean well and you think have the competency and the credibility, that you listen. And there is a humility there that is required. But remember, those people may be speaking to you not just on their own, out of their own expertise, as big as it might be, but they may be doing it because God has put it on their heart to develop you. My dad always tells me, and he's so right, that the whole Bible, the whole Christian life really is about developing. It's getting better. It's about God taking you where you are and making you better and better and better and better every day. And so just a word of advice to everybody. When someone tries to give you constructive feedback, you need to listen to good old King Solomon, and don't reject that, but consider it well, receive it, get better, get wiser, and not hurt your own soul. Not be, what is the word, brutish, not all of that, but be wise. And I just want to thank, people that have my best interest at heart and have over years of time, have sometimes gently said, hey, we think maybe this, maybe that. Try to see it as it's, I think, meant. I think they're little gifts from God, actually. Every good gift comes ultimately from God. And they may be coming through different packages and different messengers, but they're still wisdom and guidance and reproof and instruction from the Lord. I'm J. Lenore Bressler. Visit me on the next edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. Have a great day.